There's a video on YouTube by Daily MTB Rider, and I'll sum it up for you. Brands like Jetson, maker of the Bolt Pro, not to be confused with manufacturers, place orders on e-bikes and then sell them online or in a shop. And the differences are so small because you have the same manufacturer making all these bikes for different brands. So get them at the best price possible. Like mail-ordered brides. I'm not judging. In this video, I'll list 7 of these 14-inch style e-bikes starting from lowest cost to highest cost. And we'll start with this, the Jetson Bolt Pro. As you can see, it comes in at $599, but really, do not buy it for that price. The lowest you can get it for is $249 as seen here. The remanufactured is the lowest price. The next best thing is Costco. You could get it for $339 in the shop. Sometimes they have coupons and you could get it for as low as $300. These are 15 mile per hour, 15 mile range, 36 volt e-bikes. They have 350 watt motors and they have a true capacity of 216 watt hours. All right, number 2 is going to be a toss-up between the DYU, which comes at $579. You can see that this is a big step up from the Jetson. However, it's mostly the same, 15 miles per hour, 30 to 37 miles per charge with 36 volt and 10 amp hours. However, this 10 amp hours is 4 more amp hours than the Jetson Bolt Pro. So yes, you are getting an improved model, but do not get this version. Number 2 goes to the Ampere. This is a 500 watt, 14-inch bike. It is basically a Jetson Bolt Pro. However, in 48 volt variety with 500 watts, and it has a 20 mile per hour max with a 20 mile per hour range and has a 48 volt by 7.5 amp hours. So that's a true capacity of 360 watt hours. So if you're looking to spend close to $500 or you're looking to upgrade your Jetson Bolt, this is an option. Coming in at number 3, it's gotta be this Angeway 14-inch, 48 volt, 10 amp hour folding bike. Now this is not really a cousin of the Ampere. There's no shared components that I can tell, but it gives you a higher capacity by 25%. That's a good bit amount. And on top of that, it has a full suspension system. If you can see the shocks in the back and shocks in the front. And another thing is this thing is foldable. Yes, this thing can be folded. I can't say that I would suggest this over the Ampere, and more on that later. So let's go to the number 4 on this list, and that would be this Inurid. So this one looks similar in power to the previous Angeway. However, it's a different style of bike, so I think I should list it here. It has a rear seat, it's foldable, it has a full suspension. However, it shares some components with the Jetson in that I think this arm and the light right here is the same. But other than that, Inurid makes a Jetson Bolt style bike. I didn't include it in this comparison because the DYU, well, the Ampere was significantly better. I mean, it's just a better value. However, this Inurid, being kind of unique, it made the list because of the 48 volts, 10 amp hours, 20 mile range, 20 miles per hour, full suspension, it's folding, and the battery 4810, that is good for 480 watt hours. So the Angeway and this Inurid, they give you significantly more battery capacity. On the number 5, it goes to the 48 15 amp hour type bikes, and it's not going to be this Amazon one. Okay, so this Amazon one comes in at $819. That's too big of a jump from $539 or $535 to that's $300 almost. However, this offers serious capacity, and here is what I found. Goes once again to AnyRid. They have the same version of the 10 amp hours in 15 amp hour version, and this one is $601. Rear seat, dual suspension, etc. Even at $601, we're talking about double the price of the Jetson Bolt Pro. However, the Jetson Bolt, obviously you can't get this type of capacity. You can't get this type of long-lasting battery life. And to modify the engine, you know, all that adds up. Moving on to number 6 is another 48 volt, 15 amp hour, true capacity of 720 watts. That's over 3 times the capacity of the Jetson. I just want to get that squared away. That's a ton of juice. Okay, so once again, it is double the price. It is what it is. Can you upgrade the Jetson to go this fast and have this battery capacity? Yes. Will it cost more? No, it'll cost less. However, you have to perform those upgrades, and it might be worth it. Why the Jetson is likely preferred by me later in the video. All right, so this one, BTR power, goes 20 miles per hour, 40-mile range, full suspension, and it is folding. It has a rear seat, which is cool too. Okay, so the arm looks like it came from a Jetson. It has a folding mechanism, and it has an extension mechanism. It has an LCD display, phone holder, and phone charger. So, you know, you get a lot more bells and whistles. However, that price though, you know. Okay, I'm not saying I'm cheap or anything. It's just that I'm Asian. Bruh. Okay, so number 7 is going to be the big kahunas. And initially, you know, you see items like the Fido L3. This thing is, it's using a Jetson style arms and extension arm, and even the wheels is very Jetson like. However, this is not the pick if you're wanting to save money. This one comes at $9.99. It's quite a bit of money. It's nearly 3 times a Jetson now. That 23 or 20 amp hour battery is insane. You can probably get like 45 miles. All right, so the replacement is this 14-inch EBikes. It has a 20 amp hour battery, 350 watt motor. It goes 20 miles per hour. It has a 60-mile range with pedal assist. They don't state how much it can go without it, but probably easily 30 at the full 20 mile per hour throttle only. This thing has a serious battery. I mean, that battery is almost a full kilowatt hour, 960 watt hours. So that's at least 4 times as big as it's even more than 4 times as big as the Jetson battery. So that was number 7 on the list. The VV is 200 less than the Fido L3. At the end of the day, would I deviate from the Jetson? You know, the Antier is a good value, and I would consider that. Same with the Angeway, but more towards the Antier. And the reason is because once you get the Jetson Bolt, that body is good for 265 pound capacity. And outside of the Antier and the Fido L3, none of these off brands can support that amount of weight, because I'm thinking it's that folding bracket. Here, this BTR power. You see that folding bracket. I don't have a lot of trust in that type of system. And do you really have to fold the Jetson? It's less than 4 feet long. You know, I just don't find it all that necessary to have it fully folding, especially if you just remove the seat and then fold down the arm. That transportation is just very fast and it's slim. So at the end of the day, because of the much higher weight capacity, you're getting better bones with the Jetson. And I guess that matters for durability. And the community you have with the Jetson is another factor. There's Facebook groups for DYU and for Jetson. And among there, you can get a lot of help. If you need to do any upgrades, you have a whole community. If you need parts, you can get parts. If you need general help, that community is there for you. While these other brands, you might not be able to get replacement parts. The changes that they get from the manufacturers might be so small that they don't have like excess bodies waiting in some sort of warehouse that they can part out. With the Jetson, if you can't get an excess body, you could just go and offer up and find an extra body, or you get a remanufactured as a spare, and that thing is only $250, and even less if you have a coupon. Look, I'm not saying that the Jetson is the best performer out of the bunch, not the fastest or has the most capacity. No, what I'm saying is that the Jetson is pretty darn good as it is. You don't have to spend that extra $150 or even $500 for a mini bike style e-bike, and you can still have a ton of fun. Is it for everyone? Well, yeah, it kind of is, as long as you can get over the clown car looks. Is the Jetson right for older folks? Not that I'm old or anything. However, I do see the appeal of Social Security. And I would say the answer is yes. This bike is small. You don't need a bike rack. You can just toss it in your car. If you break down on the side of the road, well, call an Uber. I'm sure some Uber cars can accept a Jetson Bolt in their trunk. And if you can't afford Uber, well, you can take the bus. Yeah, the bus takes Jetson Bolts. Anyhow, I just want to bring up these bikes to satisfy your curiosity. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, sub, share. See you on the next one. Take care.